right, welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. Jumping on a quick live stream to give you guys my thoughts of the Jets practice squad additions. And I want to hear from you guys as well what you thought of the additions that came in, the guys that made it through, the guys that didn't make it through. Sorry, Bam Knight, not making it to our team. He winds up going over to Detroit. I have some draft profiles pulled up for some of the players that we don't really know a whole lot about yet, as well as some of their Pro Football Focus grades that we've seen over the course of the preseason. So I want to get into some of that stuff. But in the poll question, I'm so happy blank made it to the practice squad. Tim Boyle, Zach Kuntz, Trey Dean, Tanzel Smart. You guys could vote on that in the live chat. But let's pull up the practice squad right now with the confirmed ones that the Jets have verified as of like a half hour ago. I haven't double checked this again, but we have 10 guys that were confirmed by the New York Jets, and then there's 4 that we've been told by other sources that apparently the Jets have signed to the practice squad. So we're just waiting on the final details from that. But this is what we're looking at right now. This is 14 of a total of 16 practice squad spots that we have available. Now, obviously, the ones that I think a lot of people are kind of keying in on, Zach Kuntz, tight end, electric metrics coming out of the draft. A lot of us were a little afraid to cut him because of those metrics, thought he was a little block of clay that you could mold into a really nice tight end. I like that we held on to him. Trey Dean, highest signing bonus of any of the undrafted free agents. So very glad that that investment still wound up paying off and he's on our practice squad. And then Tanzel Smart, the dude from Hard Knocks, Mr. Carcucci board himself. Very happy to see him back with the team. I thought, just from watching Hard Knocks and One Jets Drive, it's been really nice getting to know him. And I feel like he's just a fun glue type guy to have in the locker room and to just have around the team in general. And then you'll obviously see Boyle, Johnson. I still can't say Sam's last name. I've like even at practice, I'm like sitting there with Richie. I was like, I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry, dude. Adam Pankey, Craig James. Those guys were all with us prior. And then we have some new additions that I'm not going to be able to pronounce correctly. Not super happy with the pronunciation of names that are about to come up here. We'll try it though. Cornerback, Nehemiah Shelton, Marquise Spencer, Tyreq Jones, Zavien Valade, Marcelino, McCarley Ball, and Ryan Swoboda. So we'll get into some of those guys as well, just trying to figure out who these dudes are and what we can kind of expect for them over the course of the next year or whatever, however long we wind up having these guys. Who knows? Maybe some practice squad guys stay on the practice squad for like years at a time. Tanzel Smart has been with us for a while now, so who knows? Maybe we'll see them in Hard Knocks another time. All right, so let's hop over to the final 53, and we'll go kind of in order here. This dude, I wish they just need the spelling thing on here, like how to pronunciate names. But we're over here on NFL Draft Buzz. We're going to take a look at this cornerback. Now, my understanding is this dude is actually, he's played a little bit of nickel as well. If I have my names lined up correctly. I could be, maybe I'm thinking about Jones. All right, let's go through here. 6'2", 186 pounds. Got some decent arm length. Let's see, overall rating, 74 out of 100. Let's go to the bio. 4 games as a freshman, 104 snaps, 2 pass breakups. Had an elite quarterback rating when targeted of 13.9. Hell yeah, let's go. Then as a sophomore, 96.4 rating when targeted. As a junior, 86.3, 95.5, and then 104.6. So it kind of went up a little bit as his career went on. But I would imagine he kind of played a bunch of snaps too. So the last 4 years, he played damn near 600 or more snaps. 2020, he had 583, but that was the COVID year, so could have been a little more abbreviated. Oh yeah, 8 games. You see it right there. Interesting stuff. His strengths. Blitzker coming in. Nehemiah? Yeah? I? That's an I. Nehemiah. There you go. Scouting strengths. Tracks the ball well downfield and shows good ball skills, including the ability to go up and high point it in contested catch situations. Shelton tracks the ball well and does a nice job getting his head around in plenty of time to avoid flags. His ball skills are very good. He tracks the ball well. A lot of ways to say tracking the ball well. And has hands, coordination to come away with interceptions, even when Shelton isn't targeted often. Again, tracks the ball well. Has natural ball skills for forcing turnovers. Alert defender for zone coverage. It's going to help us. Showing good understanding of route progressions occurring behind him and a quick burst downhill to break up on underneath passes in front of him. Has the fluidity, speed, and quick feet to come down and defend slot receivers in man coverage. Shelton does a nice job breaking down in space as a tackler after the catch. Some of his weaknesses. Gave up far too many big plays in college, especially concerning since Shelton has recovery speed to make up for missteps. Is not an asset in run support, looking tentative and underpowered when stepping up against the run. Inconsistent, getting off of blocks, can step slow and react when the quarterback comes back to his side of the field late in progression. Now let's look at his spider chart. Woo! Yeah, look at his height. Way high up there. Let's see. His weight's way down low. His weight's in the 23rd percentile, so that's probably why he has a little bit of a harder time trying to tackle guys, I would think. That's without me looking too hard into his tape and everything right now. Nicholas comes, and Nicholas says, Ryan's congrats on baby number 2. First time watching in a while. Much love. Hope all is well. Go Jets. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, baby 2 is doing pretty good. She's 3 weeks old as of today, and she's sleeping in the bedroom right now. So baby Shay is in her room, all of 14 months old, and then baby Ren coming in. But thank you so much, George. Nicholas George, the king. Much appreciated, dude. All right. So that's kind of what we're looking at for this dude. Let's hop over to his Pro Football Focus. Let's see if we can read this. All right. So it looks like he played in 2 games. Preseason game 2, preseason game 3. Defensive grades, not great. Against Tampa, looks like he did all right with tackling. Only played a total of 23 snaps, though. So really going to have to dive into like practice footage and college tape to get a better understanding of him. He was targeted 1 time over the course of the preseason, and he did give up a reception of 30 yards and a touchdown. So the big plays that happened in college may still be haunting Mr. Shelton right here. But again, practice squad guy, you're not expecting this dude to start. So grain of salt with everything we have going into some of these things here. Next, let's go into Marquise Spencer. Talk a little bit about him. 6'4", 300 pounds. He's a defensive end/edge out of Mississippi State. Let's see. Draft year 2021. So he's 2 years old. He's not a rookie this year. He's a good weight, 300 pounds, according to this. Let's see. Strengths. Quarterbacks and ball carriers feel his strength when he plants them in the backfield. Delivers a strong punch and uses his hands to shed blocks, to make plays in the hole or outside the box. Uses lower body strength to anchor inside. So it sounds like this guy's got some positional flexibility. Played with lean and leverage against the run. Tough for one man to move, sometimes double teams too. Good weight room strength, which translates onto the field in terms of his anchor. Played with good leverage, even on the nose, despite average bulk. Hustle defender with a good bull rush inside and can close and get home when quarterbacks leave the pocket. So it seems like he's got a little bit of wheels, and it seems like he can go inside and outside. Not that he's going to be like a speed rusher by any stretch of the imagination, but kind of nice here. Weaknesses. Isn't able to consistently shed blocks and makes plays in the hole. Not a quick twitch player, won't consistently threaten the edge, few explosive qualities, and lacks great initial burst or overall range for the position. Misses tackles even when he gets his hands on the ball carrier, needs to improve hand placement and technique, possesses excellent weight room strength, although it doesn't always translate onto his play. He struggles with leverage off the snap and plays too tall, limiting his effectiveness as a pass rusher. Okay, so this guy sounds pretty raw from everything we're reading about right here. Now, he played, 2 years before this, actually. So let me stretch this down just a touch here. Boom. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Where did that go? There we go. All right. Now everything's up all over the place. That's what happens when I try to click stuff while I'm going through things. All right. Boom. Let's get back here. A little behind the scenes action. So he's with Denver the last 2 years. So he's with Hackett at least for a little bit. So there's a little bit of inside knowledge from what it appears. This preseason. Was he with us the whole time? He was with us the whole time. Because he played again. Yeah. All right. So he's with us the entire time. This is what happens when I'm like diving through everything. Oh, great. Okay. Dean says pronounce Nehemiah. Nehemiah. Look at you guys helping me with all that. Good last game from him for the Giants. All right. Let's head over to Tyreq Jones. Tyreq Jones? Is that Tyreq? Is that how you pronounce that? Looks like it might be that. 6'2", 195-pound safety. He is almost 25 years old. Good height at 6'2", hands, almost 10-inch hands. 4'5", 40. 80-inch wingspan. This guy's a lanky dude. All right, so draft profile. Let's see. As a freshman, saw 10 games. Quarterback rating when targeted, 119.8. Not great. Then he got it down to a 74, a 75, a 71.8, and then a 110.9. So this past year, not as good. As a fifth-year senior, looks like he saw basically a ton of snaps each year. 10 games, 10 games, 5 games, 12 games, 12 games. 28 tackles, 7 assists, 14 stops in coverage. Jones had 2 pass breakups, 1 interception. That had the quarterback rating as seen there. Strengths. He's physical at the line of scrimmage, showing unexpected power with his hands. He's a technician in press coverage with a strong punch and the ability to reroute receivers. Good instincts and anticipation, reads and reacts with discipline. Dangerous with the ball in his hands. He's long and strong enough in his core to steer receivers to the sideline without getting grabby with his hands when playing inside technique. So that's something we saw with Revis, I guess, right? Like when he was on the inside, he had a knack for pushing wide receivers closer to the out of bounds lines. Basically shortening the field that they're going to be able to play on and using it as like a second defender, if you will. The great ones can do that. Jones has the straight line speed to recover. His ball skills are tremendous with good hands and the potential to take it to the house anytime Jones gets his hands on the ball. So I like that. I like the explosiveness. We want to be able to create some turnovers here and be able to like actually capitalize on them. Weaknesses. Isn't great in route recognition when he's facing the action. Is hesitant and susceptible to double moves and too often gets unnecessarily handsy when playing trail position. Jones plays high and tends to struggle with the change of direction, and Jones also shows some stiffness when he has to flip his hips. Susceptible to double moves, though that could be coached out of him, but the problem is that he doesn't track the ball downfield. That doesn't make me feel great. As you can see, wingspan, arms, hands, height, and 40, all good. the explosiveness that they're kind of talking about. So clearly with like the shuttle, the 3-cone, the vertical, and the broad, you're not seeing athleticism from like an explosion perspective with this particular player. As far as the Pro Football Focus side of things goes, looks like he was in on 60 total snaps. He was a rush defender on, 22 of them? He's in coverage on 38. Had a total of 9 tackles, 1 assist, 1 missed tackle. He gave up 100% of the receptions that he went up against. So in the first game against Chicago, 1 target, 1 reception, 11 yards. Second game, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 34 yards total given up. So again, pretty small sample size. Didn't get a lot of action that last game against New England there. All right. This is where we start hopping into some of like this guy's going to be a little bit more fun. Totally going to jack this name up. Zavien Valade. That's what we're going to go with. I'm going to call him that. He is 6 foot tall, 199 pounds, from Arizona State. Running back. Obviously, we lost Bam Knight. He is a 4'4", 40 type guy. 6 foot tall. Vertical of 40 inches. Wow. That's explosive. Broad jump was at 10 feet 3 inches. Math. All right, let's see. So it looked like he started at Wyoming. Looks like 4 years, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. After season's end, Valade transferred to Arizona State as a fifth-year senior in 2022. He played in 12 games and ran for an outstanding 1,192 yards on 215 carries for an excellent average of 5.5 yards per carry, 16 touchdowns, 1 fumble. He also had 37 receptions for 289 yards. So it seems like, looking at his averages, 5.6 yards a carry, 5.1 yards per carry, 5.5 yards per carry, 5.1 yards per carry, and then 5.5 yards per carry. So this guy's getting over 5 yards every single year he's in college, and he had what looks like 3 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, and then a friggin' 16 spot this year. That's exciting. Anytime someone has a nose for the end zone, regardless of where you wind up getting them, they're doing something right. Strengths. Valade is a natural playmaker, at his best with the ball in his hands. Has the feet and feel running between the tackles and in the open field. He has very good vision and patience to pick through defenses. Not truly explosive, but possesses enough speed to beat linebackers to the edge. An excellent blocker on the outside. Valade can also add value in the running game. He's equally dangerous in catch and run situations, as he has taken the top off a defense. Valade has very good vision, and a knack for picking out cutback lanes and then breaking off chunks of yardage. So if this guy's actually on the Jets practice squad, we're getting into the players that were like, quote unquote, not confirmed by the New York Jets just yet. But this dude, I mean, it seems like this is a Bam replacement. Like, we clearly needed some extra juice in the practice squad with another back. Because who knows what happens with Cook? What happens with, Izzy's already been banged up a little bit on the thigh, and Brees has come back from the injury. So you got to bring in a little bit of support in terms of the running back room. Weaknesses. As a runner, Valade often looks to bounce outside and make the big play rather than pick his way through traffic. We see that a lot with usually smaller running backs, not so much the guys that are around 200 pounds. And that's just because they're afraid to go in. No, I shouldn't say afraid, but they think they can, wrap around and outrun guys like they did in college, and it just doesn't work the same way in the NFL. He's elusive with the ball in his hands, but he won't break up a lot of tackles. Won't break a lot of tackles. Not break off a lot of tackles. Won't break a lot of tackles. because getting separation is going to be an issue. He's likely going to need to line up off the line of scrimmage. Valade doesn't offer a ton of wiggle, and in college, he often sought out contact rather than avoiding it. All right, so that totally throws out my argument of saying, maybe he's bouncing it to the outside because he doesn't want contact. It literally says in his profile that he's aiming for contact. We've had a few guys like that. Was it Sean Green? No. Ivory, maybe? We had a running back in the last 7-8 years that would go hunting for punishment. Wants to go out and just hit the guy that's going to go tackle him as opposed to running around him. And it drove me bonkers, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it was. Could have been Crowell? I don't know. You guys can let me know on that. Hey, Tigo. What's up, dude? I see you over there. All right. As far as his spider chart goes, all right, not bad. Height, weight, and hand size, not great. Yeah, I guess 200 is light. What is it? What did he say? 199? Is that what his weight was? 199. But explosive, though. You see that vertical, 96th percentile. I like it. A little bit of a swing. Let's see what we're looking at here. So it looks like he was on New England the first week of preseason, had 11 total snaps, 4 passing snaps, 4 running snaps, and then he blocked for 3 of them. Not great in New England. Looks like he did a little bit better for the Steelers the next 2 weeks. But again, not a whole lot of snaps. Looks like 9 snaps total. 25 snaps total. 9 pass blocking. 9 passing snaps, 12 running snaps, 3 where he was pass blocking, 1 where he was run blocking. All right. I feel like this guy is intriguing. That's about what I can say. Who knows where it actually ends up going, but not bad. Of the players that we've looked at so far, this one I think is the most interesting. All right. Marcelino McCarley Ball. I do know a little bit about him. 49ers fans. He's from San Francisco. 49ers fans were pretty excited about this dude. When I was looking up some videos a little bit earlier today on him. He is 6'4", 212 pounds out of Indiana. 10-inch hands. Got great height, weight, and bench press. So this is a strong dude. And then middle of the pack as far as 40 vertical, 3 cone, and broad jump. His strengths. Tough and scrappy with forceful nature to be physical at all levels of the field. Has good bulk on his frame to be aggressive in run support. Good hustle. Player who puts himself in the action when he's not directly involved. Knows how to use his height and vertical leap. Has an NFL frame with strong hands and the ability to close quickly on underneath routes and the size to tackle with a thump. Strong hands to make plays on the ball. Effective blitzer who shows well-coached technique and awareness. Flashes intimidating attitude and will crush tiptoeing receivers across the middle. Well-put-together athlete with a strong build. Plays fast and flies to the ball with accurate angles. Good strength to tackle. Plays with high energy and is a tough-minded overachiever. Good instincts and anticipation. Reads and reacts with discipline. Dangerous with the ball in his hands. That, I know it's the strengths category of this player, but McCarley Ball is someone that I think Robert Saleh, as a former linebackers coach, is going to be really excited to try and mold into, something. It looks like this guy's got the physical attributes to do it. Look at that. Look at the strengths, weaknesses. Dude's got 2 weaknesses. Will slip off tackles and needs to finish more consistently. Has suspect instincts in coverage and needs to show better pre-snap recognition. You know who that sounds like to me? Sounds a lot like year 1 of Quincy Williams. Where he kind of, lay a boom, but maybe not wrap up all the time. Coverage maybe a little suspect, but gets better. I like how our linebackers have developed. So this guy is could be exciting to watch. Yeah, look at that spider chart. The metrics like from a physicality standpoint, are there. And then he's just kind of, I would say, average at the athleticism side of things. Pro Football Focus wise. So he's been with San Francisco the last 2 years. So this was not a draft pick this season. He was drafted 2022. Looks like he played in 100 snaps this preseason. His best game was against Denver. This guy seems like he could be like a Quan Alexander type player. The way they describe him. In coverage, 77 and a 90. It's against Vegas and Denver. I don't know how many, I guess there's a little context that's missing with preseason stuff because you don't know how many starters were playing at any particular point in time or when these guys were playing. Generally speaking, if you're getting a guy off waivers, it's not someone that played in the first half of preseason games too frequently. Looks like in coverage, is targeted 3 times, 5 times, I guess, total. Gave up 4 receptions for a total of, where's the yards in there? 14 yards. So he gave up 14 yards on 4 receptions. That's fine by me. That's kind of like a Quan. If this guy can stop screen passes, it seems like he's around the line of scrimmage, right? Playing up in the box. I like this. And coming from San Francisco, I think that's, the pedigree that he'd have is there. So he's under D'Amico Ryans last year. I like it. I like this play a lot. The last 2, the running back Valade and McCarley Ball. All right, this last one, we've got Mr. Ryan Swoboda. Didn't have his draft profile on NFL Draft Buzz. So this one's looking a little different. He's a tackle at 6'9". This guy's enormous. Weight. That doesn't tell me anything. I don't think he's 6,092 pounds. I think they're mixing up his height and his weight. That's all right. Let's see. That's a lot to read in an evaluation. Grade. They're calling his floor developmental tackle to average starting tackle. Oh, floor and ceiling. So his floor is developmental tackle. His ceiling is an average starting tackle. Scheme fit, gap, power run scheme. They thought he should go in the 6th or 7th round. Let's see if we got anything else in here. Not that I'm going to go into. Now it does, from my understanding, he is very, very slow. So he has trouble with any of the speed edge rushers, which is kind of what you see with Mekhi Becton. Anytime you have someone that's that big, it's just hard for them to move. So developmental tackle, basically what we're getting. Let's see what he's got Pro Football Focus wise. Oh yeah, that's right. I saw this. This is basically like Bam Knight for a tackle. Like the same move that the Patriots traded running back to the Browns to get an offensive lineman. Well, the Jets cut Bam Knight and we picked up a tackle. Bam Knight goes to Detroit. We get Detroit's tackle. They played the Giants, Jacksonville, and Carolina. His best game was against Jacksonville. Had a total of 34 snaps. Block percentage. I guess it's tough to kind of see. Run blocking, pass blocking. It's just average, right? He did have 1 hurry that he gave up, so 1 pressure. Positional snap counts. Looks like he did most of his damage at right tackle. They did have him in at 2 snaps at left tackle against the Giants in that first preseason game. So interesting stuff. That's kind of what we're looking at for our practice squad. So I guess let's hop over into the chat. I want to see what you guys are kind of thinking on these particular players. What do you think of the guys that we were able to bring back? Guys like Tim Boyle, Zach Kuntz, Trey Dean, Tanzel Smart. What do you think of some of the newer additions? Timo says, Morstead already re-signed, right? I haven't seen it. Maybe it happened. I expect him to be back though. We guaranteed him a bunch of money, so I don't think there's any. I shouldn't say a bunch of money, but I think like 75% of his contract was guaranteed. Which I guess if you cut him, he's probably already got it, and I don't know how it works after that. But yeah, he'll be back. Zachary Berner says Bawden and Thomas is back. Warren and Yeboah are on short-term IR. Okay, so yeah, we got both punter and fullback back. Warren and Yeboah hit the short-term IR. I'm fine with both those guys on there. And then I would imagine once week 1 comes around, Eccles will come back onto the team, and Bryce Hall will probably get released at that point. I think the only reason he was able to make the team, Bryce Hall, is because of Eccles' suspension, which is disappointing because I really like Bryce Hall. I feel like he's been a little more disappointing this season. Timo says, did you see there was 90,000 people at a women's college volleyball game, a record amount of people watching any women's sport event? Yeah, I saw it. My buddy actually just sent me the video. I literally watched it just before I came on stream. Like as my countdown was counting down on my side for like when the stream starts. I was like down to like 30 seconds. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. That's more than MetLife. I think MetLife holds like 80,000 fans or something like that. It's funny. When I was in high school, the women's volleyball team, like all the guys would just get super rowdy. We'd all come, we'd pack the stands, we'd go to away games, and it was just kind of fun. We obviously went to the high school football games and, the different track meets and things like that. But girls volleyball, because it was like, I don't know, there was just something about, we had all these like different chants that we would do. Nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Or push it. It was great. Get rowdy. GVH says Swoboda, I think is a former Mets player's name. Yeah. Outfielder? Is it Rob? I think it's Rob or Ron. Might be Ron. Oh, there it is. Wrong verb. Comes in, says Ron. Just win Jets. He just wants Devontae Adams. Ferris Grimm, talking about the tackle, Ryan, says, I saw him play for the Lions. He did very well for them. I have a Lions buddy. I got to ask him. See what he feels about him. Zachary Berner says, did you see Fireman Ed's beer brand is out now? I did. I saw a post about it from Let's Talk Jets Radio, I think. I'm definitely going to try it. 100%. I'm a big beer guy. Any way to support Fireman Ed. He's good people. JD says, I'm glad we got Smart. Didn't think he would clear waivers. Yeah, I was concerned because of the way they highlighted him during Hard Knocks and everything, that maybe someone would snatch him away. I shouldn't say concerned, because I do want him to continue his dream being in the league. He's just someone I want to root for. I'm glad we got him back. Rob V says, there's no way we keep 7 wide receivers, right? Yeah, I don't know. That feels weird to me. Maybe we have a little bit more of like an idea as we get a little further into the season. I mean, you got to think there's going to be a heavy special teams initiative for wide receiver 6 and 7. 7's a lot to carry, though. That's more than I thought. Anthony D says, the women's beach volleyball uniforms are second to none. Certainly don't hate them. Jin Pak says, just got here. Did we pick up Swoboda on the practice squad? So the ones that are up here right now, the top 10 are all confirmed by the New York Jets. The bottom 4 I saw reported by other people, but not confirmed by the New York Jets. So I'm not sure if these bottom 4 are. I am most excited for Valade and McCarley Ball right now, as far as guys that I think can make a little bit of noise on the depth aspect of our team. Zachary says, Izzy versus Bam with a 2-round KO with Izzy winning. I don't know if I understand what that means. Talking about preseason games, maybe? I mean, Izzy was clearly not going to get cut. I don't think you spend a draft pick on a player when you're, rich and you got Brees and Cook and Carter in front of them. And then if you're deciding between a guy you just drafted and Bam Knight, I feel like you got to go with the guy you just drafted. Fungus Among Us says, Smart deserves a spot. Yep. Glad he's back here. Jerome says, Ron Swoboda. I'm going to screw up these names. All these names are like jacking me up right now. It's ridiculous. Ron Swoboda. Great catch in Game 4 of the 6-9 World Series. I don't think there's any relation other than the last name. Anthony D says, how does Anthony Davis keep making this team? He had a great last 2 games. I don't know what his PFF grades came out to be, but I remember sitting here watching those last 2 preseason games and thinking, wow, Ashton Davis came to play. Because if you had asked me, a month ago, no way Ashton Davis makes this team. No shot. The last 2 weeks, dude balled out. Few tackles for losses, big time hits. Really like what we're getting out of Ashton Davis. And he's a heavy special teams contributor too. So I would love nothing more than to be wrong about Ashton Davis and have him actually perform well. I mean, who knows? I don't think we're going to re-sign him or anything, but I like that he's here. High upside speed. Athletic freak. Salman Jet says, anything on Bam Knight? Yes, he signed with Detroit. Zachary Burner says, we only have 4 cornerbacks minus Hardy. So we have Hall, we have Sauce, we have Reed, we have Michael Carter the second, and Hardy. So we have 5 minus Hardy. But then you also have guys that play safety. So I think we're going to use a lot more Amos and Davis. I think are going to come in and play a little bit more of that linebacker will type role. And you'll see some 5 DB action that may not necessarily be a corner. So I'm not too concerned. WL Graves says his name is pronounced Nehemiah. Come on, man. Nehemiah. Look at us go. Nehemiah. Thank you for that. Yeah, Anthony says Bam wasn't going to make it with Izzy here. Completely agree. Zachary says Izzy showed special speed to the outside in the preseason. He is very fast. Randilla agrees with me. Ashton Davis was laying the wood. JD says that game against the Bucks, I never seen Davis play that well. Yeah, it was impressive. Shockingly. I hate saying shockingly, but pleasantly surprised. Just When Jet says, when the Jets acquire their next big name, what position do we spend on? Offensive line, wide receiver, or linebacker? The next big name we get, I feel like will be wide receiver because I think we'll make a trade for one this season. I do think Bakhtiari's coming next year, and it's going to be by way of free agency. I think he's going to get cut by the Packers because he's got a $40 million cap hit next year, and the Jets are not going to have Becton or Dwayne Brown on contracts next season unless you wind up franchising Mekhi Becton or you sign him to a longer-term extension in some capacity. But I think offensive line in the offseason is where you see Bakhtiari come in. But in season, I think could be a wide receiver. I'm hoping for Darnell Mooney. That would be the player I think provides something a little different. But I think that would be a move I'd want to try and make near the trade deadline, give Hardman a chance to really kind of show out. Because I do like him a lot. Rob V says, player-wise, I'll take Izzy. Add to the fact that he was a draft pick equals guaranteed spot over Bam. Yeah, that's exactly it. Wrong Verb says, Sauce and Ashton Davis are bowling buddies. I didn't know that. I like bowling. Big bowling guy. Shouldn't say a big bowling guy. But I'll bowl maybe once a year, once every other year, I guess. Not a big bowling guy, I guess. But I enjoy bowling. I'll say that. Never broke 200, though. I usually sit somewhere around 180 to 200. I think 197 might have been my best game I ever rolled. Rob V says, as much as I've been an Ashton Davis hater, he played great this preseason. Completely agree. Randilla says he's a keeper. Chrono Kenny says Brandon Eccles. Brandon Echols is suspended for 1 game, and then he'll be back on the roster. Anthony D says, 3rd round mistake. Pick Ryan Ashton, not it. Yeah, look, that's not what you want to get from a 3rd round pick. Look, let's be honest. Our whole 2020 draft? I think it was 2020 draft. Not what we would sign up for. Mekhi Becton finally playing for the first time since his rookie year. Denzel Mims cut off the team. Cameron Clark, unfortunate issue with blood clots or something going on health-wise. He didn't even take a snap for us. Braden Mann was the whole reason we wound up losing Trevor Lawrence. He's gone now. Bryce Hall was the only shining spot in that entire draft class, and a lot of people were saying he shouldn't have made the roster this year. James Morgan's off the team. P. Ryan's off the team. Zuniga's off the team. It's just a rough draft. Ashton Davis, you could argue, was to this point the best draft pick, aside from a healthy Mekhi Becton on the field. He's clearly been better. Any noteworthy cuts the Jets can pick up? Not that I'm aware of. Nothing that's currently jumping off the page at me. Zachary says, did you see the one Giants podcaster calling Aaron Rodgers soft for Jihad, Ward, and Aaron Rodgers' conflict, Ward, and blocking all Jets Twitter as we speak? Dude, we saw it. We did the reaction stream, O'Leary and I, after Hard Knocks aired, and someone brought that up. I don't know if O'Leary brought it up or someone else brought it up, but we pulled it up on Twitter and we watched the video, and it was, I don't know how big of a following this Giants podcaster dude has, but I mean, he's like, oh, come on, Aaron, come on, you're so soft. It's one dude preseason game. And clear, it's not like it was close. It was balls out, 1,000, 2,000, maybe even 3,000. And then he gets pushed and shut. Why are you even laying hands on the quarterback? I know I'm not expecting a flag by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the type of play that I was concerned about Rodgers being in for, because you got Ward who's trying to make a roster spot, trying to make a name for himself, and you don't think he's going to tell his grandkids, oh, I clocked Aaron Rodgers at one point, or I got into a scrap with Aaron Rodgers at one point. That's what this guy's hoping for. And Aaron Rodgers pulls around and says I don't even know who you are, which is the best line you could throw at someone who is clearly not an anybody in the league. But yeah, I did see the podcaster, and he's probably getting a little more hate than he deserves, because it's look, I'm sure I've had opinions of other teams' players that sound just as cringy as what that guy was saying. But whatever. Not going to put too much brain power into that one. Anthony says, if Becton plays 14 games, I re-sign him. I think I hit him with the transition tag. I think that would be the move, because it's a little bit cheaper. It's not a whole lot cheaper. It's $21 million versus $23 million. I don't remember. Do you get anything if someone signs him away, though, with the transition tag? Franchise tag is $23 million for a tackle. Well, for an offensive lineman next year. It's a lot of money to pay Becton when you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. If he would sign a 2-year or 3-year Band-Aid deal, he's hey, I'll sign for 3 years, $16 million a year, I would do that maybe over the 23 for 1 year. Unless you want the 23 and just make him prove it again. That's just a lot of money. The Jets right now have $35 million, assuming we don't spend any more cap space. And we go into next year with what we have now and whatever's going into next year. We'll have $35 million in cap space before any cuts. And if you're giving 23 of that to Becton, and then maybe you want to have Bakhtiari come in as well, that's your entire cap space. That's everything you got. I don't know. I'm just worried about this year. I'm just excited for this year. Want him to play well. I hope he gives us a reason to be concerned over how much we're going to have to pay him. That would be a great problem to have. Rob says, Mooney super slept on. He's played with horrible quarterbacks since he's been in the league. He really has, and he's good. He is sure-handed. Some of the grabs he has is just absolutely bonkers. I would absolutely trade a second-round pick for him, give him the money. He's going to get about $15 million a year. I would absolutely do it, especially if you wind up getting him midway through the season when you have a better understanding of what Hardman is and where you're pick. I mean, you're talking a second round pick is probably going to be a late second round pick. Maybe you can get him for cheaper than that. That would be even greater. Fantastic. But either way, I think he's a really good weapon, and he'd easily be wide receiver number 2 here. Brahim says Mooney would be a great pickup for us. Completely agree. Anthony asking, Ryan, have you made arrangements for Vegas yet? Becca would kill me if I went out to Vegas. My one buddy's is a big Raiders fan. He lives in Jersey too. So I guess we could both go, and we leave my wife with the 2 under 14 months old and his wife with the 1-year-old. Sorry, guys, you're going to fend for yourself. We're going to Vegas for the weekend. I'm sure that'll go over well. Blaze T, just got done watching the new Hard Knocks. Best episode yet, got me hyped. I really like the Giant game portion of that with Rodgers kind of getting up in arms about stuff. I don't know if it was my favorite episode of the bunch. I mean, it was nice, obviously, seeing Rodgers on the field, but I think I liked the interaction behind the scenes a little bit more that we got to see in some of the other episodes. I really liked seeing the Brownlee and Gibson dynamic. I think that was really cool. That provided a little more insight into what like the wide receiver room sort of is. And it's nice that you saw both guys that have provide wildly different skill sets make the team and have as much passion as they do for one another. That's got maybe an odd way to say it, but clear camaraderie between the two of them. Edwin says, any word on Jerome Cap? I have not heard anything yet. You guys can let me know if you guys see or heard anything. I would love to see him brought back to the practice squad, but I understand if we don't. We have so many wide receivers currently on the roster that we're going to probably try and sneak onto the practice squad at some point. I felt bad for Cap. He was the one player we saw cut, kind of, at the end of yesterday's episode. GVH says ESPN put out an article saying Ward was just sticking up for Dirty Cobb hit and that they didn't see them and they'd see them in October. Yeah, look, the Cobb hit, while it's not like I don't know. I guess I would be irritated. It's definitely a blindside hit for sure. Cobb definitely hit him with his back. Like Cobb went in front of him to block him. So as much as it was a very boom of a hit, it very much was not Cobb causing intentional pain, if that makes sense. Like Cobb could have taken the dude's teeth out and he didn't do it. So sticking up for a Dirty Cobb hit, I guess. That whole broadcast, by the way, if you watched it on NBC, was Giants propaganda. Everything was through a blue lens, which I understand. You watch other Jet games, it's through a green lens and everything's of more of a positive spin. But you really noticed it. It's kind of irritating where it's oh yeah, well, the Giants backups are in right now. And then they don't mention that Isaiah Simmons is a starter on a third string running back. And they're oh yeah, look, that offensive line is really struggling out there. Getting me all sorts of mad. Rico the Pup says, Rodgers literally had time to take a couple of steps while watching the receiver go to work, and then Ward decides to shove him. Yeah, it was almost 3 seconds. I feel like I sat there and count 1,000, 2 1,000. What's that dude touching that guy? What's he doing? Why is he hitting him? Randilla says, Ward should have got his autograph. I don't think Rodgers would have done it. Anthony D says, I need an offensive line to handle that. A-Rod should have never had that much contact with a peon. Yeah, I don't think... it was nice because I think McGovern went up to him. And then Becton was hovering around there too. This offensive line is going to protect Rodgers in a way we didn't get to see with Zach Wilson. And it was something that always rubbed me the wrong way the last few years because I feel like if your quarterback gets hit, I don't care what has to happen, especially if it's a dirty hit. Go get a penalty. Go for it. Absolutely. Start swinging. Or maybe get the penalty and then cause a penalty on the next one. Get a little it depends if it's first down, second down, If it's third down, obviously don't touch the guy. Take the penalty, move on to the next down. But yeah, you absolutely got to get in other guys' faces when they hit your quarterback. Funny how he said he didn't know who Rodgers was. I don't know who you are. Yeah, sure. Rob says Cobb's block wasn't even dirty. I don't care what anyone says. That's a football play as long as it's not from behind. It wasn't from behind, and he didn't lead with his helmet or shoulder. He, like, if you watch the replay, it's like his back. Like, he's clearly going one way and turns and, like, has his back hit the chest of the Giants player there. Knocked the snot out of him. Randella says Cobb's block used to be an attaboy. That's right. I miss you got jacked. That would have been like teeing someone up. I know they don't want big hits and they want to like glamorize it, but you got jacked was something I always look forward to. Aaron Daniel says, not that it really mattered now, but pretty sure Smart was never on the waiver wire because he is a vet. No. Oh, you're right. Because you have to be, if you're in the league, 3 years or 4 years? And he's been in the league like 7 seasons, I think. Is that what he was saying on Hard Knocks? He's been around at least 4 years. So you're probably right. Ferris says, I want a Carcucci board t-shirt. Yeah, you get the one that he had on in the episode. AZ says, I'll be in Vegas for the game. Makes sense if you're in Arizona. Anthony D says, Ryan, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime. Vegas is a must. Yeah, I also just had a second kid. I don't know if I should be going out to Vegas. Spending a bunch of money. I'll watch from the comfort of my my couch. Let my buddy over, play a hand of blackjack at my own table. Not the same. Adirondack Fly Guy says, sup, Rye Guy. Loving General Rodgers running this team. Completely agree. Couldn't have asked for a better quarterback. Do I think that half the stadium will be Jets for Jets versus Giants? I don't know. It's going to be close. I don't know how many Giant fans are going to want to give up their ticket when they get to see Aaron Rodgers play also. But they could also rake Jet fans through the coals and charge like a whole bunch of money. So, I don't know. It'll probably be close to 50-50. I'd love to see more Jet fans. There was definitely more Jet fans at the Giant preseason game. Can you believe the Cobb hit got a fine? Yeah, someone was saying $20,000, right? Yeah, Rico comes in saying, yeah, Cobb laid a dirty hit on a guy. I should push the quarterback well after he's thrown the ball. Yeah, that makes sense. That was the justification for why he pushed Rodgers, apparently. Aaron said, also just realized my stream on TV was like 12 minutes behind. So sorry for the late comment. That's all right. I do that occasionally too, where I'm like, oh, I'm trailing behind by like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And I put a comment in there. I'm like, ooh, they're off that topic already. But if I could understand what's going on, I'll talk about it still. Hey, what's up, Greg? Greg says Ward is going to get his ass handed to him when we play him again. Yeah, I hope someone like knocks the ever-living piss out of him. Yeah, Jim Pock talking about Mike White last year. They folded Mike White up like a beach chair. No penalty, no fine. Yeah, Jets are one of the only teams to like not have I think we're the only team to not have a roughing the passer call called on us or for us. October 29th should be a good MetLife battle. I have to go to a wedding. So wedding is at like 5, I think. Maybe 4. And I think the Giant Jet game is at 1. Your boys got YouTube TV. Hopefully we got some reception or some Wi-Fi because I don't want to miss a snap. Very much want to see everything. Or maybe the Jets will be blowing them out so good that I won't feel as bad missing a little bit at the end. Carl Banks isn't a very good commentator. No, he's not. I thought he was pretty bad. Rico says he tries that in a real game, and Becton is going to put Jihad Ward in an emergency ward. I like that. I see what you did there. Joseph Wolf says, like when Pouncey protected the Pittsburgh quarterback against Myles Garrett. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to see your quarterback get defended by the offensive line. Like the offensive line is your protection both in a football sense and if anyone touches you, you go after him. That's what's got to happen. Travis B. With Jameson Williams out and his rap, seems like Cap would be a good fit in Detroit. That'd be pretty cool, right? Like, heads over to 8 Mile. I'd like to see him land somewhere. I like the hammer slam sack celebration. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. The JJ, like, boom. What would you call that? Would that be the hammer, or is that like the strength bell, right? Like at the carnival that you have to swing down and hit? Ding! We have a winner! Chrono Kenny says, are players protected who are on the practice squad or similar if they have been in the league for less than 4 years, they can be claimed? So anyone can be claimed off the practice squad, but I believe when you drop players down for game week, I think you have like 6 protected slots. I think that's what it is. Randilla, take the family to Vegas. Yeah, 2 under 2 years old at a casino. Hey, Becca, I'm just gonna go out. I gotta go see this bar called Stilettos. See what's going on. I don't think it's gonna go over well. Anthony D says, Jets Super Bowl on the couch, Ryan, LOL. So I have said before, if the Jets get to the Super Bowl, I would go out for Super Bowl week, but I would want to come home for the game. I would rather watch the Super Bowl on a TV than actually in person and pay the amount of money that you'd see. The Super Bowl is just meant for an on-TV experience, and I don't feel like you actually get that full experience being there. As much as it'd be cool, but I feel like the media week before that would be a lot of fun. I don't really know what goes on, but like all the interviews and stuff and seeing players out at restaurants, I feel like that would be a really good time. Ryan Fitzgerald. Good to see Craig James made it. He balled out. I'm rooting for him over Bryce, who looks like he's going through the motions. Yeah, I think Bryce is gone once Eccles comes back. Mount Becton will serve Ward up a couple of pancakes. Yes, he will. What's up, J-Boy? Good to have you in here. Sovacito. I can't wait to see Brees and Cook on the field at the same time. Defenses won't know what to do. Yeah, you have one on either side of Rodgers. Talk about the stress that would put on a defense. Jin Pak says, I sat in on a Buffalo Fanatic podcast the other day, and they want to destroy us. Get ready for a dogfight. Oh, I'm sure they want to destroy us. But just remember, last year, without Corey Davis, Brees Hall, and AVT, we had Zach Wilson throw 150 yards, and we beat them. So, yeah. Bring it. Let's go. No Von Miller. Look, I'm going to be talking a lot of shit. I really hope we wind up like clubbing them. I like Rico. I'm a fan of Buffalo Fanatics. I did a collab with him over on the AFC East Roundtable last week. I'll be on that show Monday with Richie and those guys. Anthony D says, especially the center. Center is the underboss of the line. Completely agree. Who is my O-line, Ryan? So Dwayne Brown on the left side. I think at some point I wouldn't mind seeing Tippmann at left guard, but I do think Laken Tomlinson stays at left guard. I think McGovern stays at center until the bye week, and then we make the change to Tippmann at the bye week. Then maybe you make a decision on Laken. If he hasn't played well, maybe you move McGovern out that way, or you shift it around that way. AVT on the right-hand side, and then Becton at right tackle. That would be my O-line. Ah, that's right. Swing the axe. It's a Florida State thing. The tomahawk chop. The tomahawk chop's like, whoa. But I guess they do the axe into the ground or whatever. Scratch says, Dean kind of reminds me of my favorite Jet, number 21, Victor Green. A little bit, right? Ferris Graham, you can even say it's the last nail in the coffin when he celebrates. Yeah, drive the nail home. Travis says, any ideas, predictions on if Lawson will be good to go for week 1? He just started practicing again. So we got, what, 2 weeks? Week and a half? I don't know. I'm okay if we don't get him back week 1 right away. I feel like JJ and Huff and the rest of our D-line can hold it down for a game. Adirondack says, my couch is the best seat in the stadium. Yeah, there's my buddy and I have always been talking, and now that VR is becoming a bigger thing, they should really have a VR headset seat, whatever the best seat in the house is, like, let's say basketball, courtside. Why not, when a game is totally sold out, you then offer a season pass or some type of one-game ticket where you could throw on a VR headset in your house, and you are all of a sudden watching courtside basketball right there. That's the ultimate, courtside seat. And you'd sell infinite of them. Just however many you want to sell. David D says, kids got to learn how to gamble sometime, Ryan. Yeah, my parents taught me like how to play blackjack and poker and all that, just card games. We didn't actually bet money as a kid. But yeah, my kids will learn how to play cards. Ryan, every big game in my 41 years as a Jet fan I've spent on the couch. No way in hell I do that again. Jets, Jets. JD says, Buffalo fans talking a lot. They are so mad that nobody cares about them anymore. I just hope we come out and we beat them. I don't want to like lay an egg week 1 and then have to deal with the media circus for like a week. And then all of a sudden we're at the bottom of the division because we have a division loss, and I just want to win that week. And I'm going to be there. Like, I want week 1 to be a win. Give me the win. Oh, Zachary says, I mean, all offensive line-like friends that would protect you like Becton did. Yeah, so when I was growing up, I was not a very big kid. I like going through high school. I got into high school under 5 foot tall. And I was like, man, I'm little. So high school had a weight room. I was like, all right, I'm going to hit the weight room. And I started getting real friendly with all the weightlifters and like the offensive linemen and stuff. And yeah, I have a group of guys. At least I did in high school, where like if something kind of went down, I'd have like towers come up on either side. Be like, I got a posse around me, like, fuck with me. Always felt good. Yeah, I got some buddies, some scrappy dudes. One of them actually just found the channel. He's a Packers fan. He always in my back pocket. Good dude. Eminon says, so excited for Kuntz and Dean, and of course, the feel-good smart. Yeah, I'm glad these guys are on. Rico says, did you see the camera footage from Tua's helmet cam? I predict it's only a matter of time before that becomes part of the game, and see what the quarterback saw on the big play or a pick. Yeah, we saw it with Rodgers, Zach. We saw it with someone. They also had it on the, they had a few different cameras on the goal posts and on the referees as well. Although the quality is not very good. It's almost like they're wearing a GoPro, and it's like too wide of an angle, so everything's like fisheyed. I think that will get better though. And I think when you start seeing like maybe more of like the Monday night, Sunday night football games, like maybe it's kind of like the Skycam. Maybe they'll utilize it a little bit more for like the primetime games before they roll it out to all the other games. But I do like that side of things. I like the ability to see what the quarterback did see, because when you're looking at the all-22, you're seeing a bird's eye view. You're not necessarily seeing what Kyler Murray or, whatever short quarterback is seeing with this monster offensive line in front of him. I'd like to see that a little bit more frequently. All right. So we just hit the hour mark here. I want to give you guys my quick closing thoughts, and then we'll wrap this up here. As far as our poll question goes, I'm so happy blank made it to the practice squad. Trey Dean winds up winning with a 38%. Tanzel Smart finishes up at 34%. Kuntz 21%. Tim Boyle, sorry, dude, 5%. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I should have just made it a 3-vote question. Overall, I'm happy we got Boyle back. I'm glad we only have 2 quarterbacks on the active roster, because there's no reason to have more than that. If you lose Rodgers for any significant amount of time, you're in a world of hurt anyway. Zach Kuntz, had to get him back because of the size and metrics. Trey Dean, you gave him a big undrafted free agent signing bonus. Glad to get him back. Tanzel Smart, obviously a fan favorite from Hard Knocks. And then of these non-confirmed guys, assuming they eventually become confirmed in the next day or so, very high on Valade, very high on McCarley Ball. I think Ball is going to be a very interesting, potentially Quan Alexander-esque linebacker that we're going to try and groom over these next few years. And him being a linebacker, which is Robert Saleh's piece de resistance. That is his, he was a linebackers coach. It's where he makes his bread and butter, right? I think so. All right, boys and girls, that's going to do it for me. Going to wrap it up right here. I'll be back. I'm sure I'll make a video tomorrow in some capacity. But boys and girls, if you like what you heard here, or you thought it was a little informative, or you enjoyed the time hanging out, hit the like button on the way out. We're under 100 likes, and we've got over 250 people in here. So it'd be kind of nice to know I earned a like from you guys. But that's going to be it. As always, this is Jets Talk signing off. Jets!
Jets! Jets! Jets!